In this video, we have some random penalties in daily race C and revenge punting. I hate it, but look at this, we have it in the same race. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a Gran Turismo video where we're doing a race, a daily race, indeed. Now this one, well, it's not going to be the greatest because it encapsulates the sport mode in a nutshell. First up though, if you do enjoy these videos, as always, give it a like, subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. And I jumped onto this one, and I was going to look at slipstream specifically, because this one has the custom slipstream, which is getting more extreme every single time we race, especially with the recent bot change. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. We head towards turn 1 here in the Peugeot RCZ, and we see the red car on the right side. Just get it wrong there. They go into the side of the German, who goes into the side of the Dutch driver. They do wait up there and go to the back of the pack, so they definitely just made a mistake there, and they basically said sorry by going to the back and giving themselves a penalty there. Even though we're still in this race, we're right behind that Dutch driver now who had been involved in that incident. As we head down here towards the right-hander, you can see how close we are here as we head to this one. And there you go, defensive on the inside. So I thought, you know what? Let's try a max power move round the outside here on this right-hander. Does it work? No, and everyone's getting used to this daily race now as well. So I jumped on about 8 minutes before this race started for a bit of practice in the LCZ, and let's kick it off here. And you can see now I'm looking to try and get past, but it's very hard to overtake in this middle sector here at Deep Forest Raceway in reverse. Now, I do like this track. It's very good, very technical on this intersection. Very easy to get it wrong, and it does reward you if you do get it right. As we go through this right-hander, avoiding those sausages on that right-hand side. Through the left we go. We've got an Alfa Romeo behind there. The Dutch driver just gets it wrong here. Goes defensive then. Good defensive line there for the Dutch driver. We go on the chase cam then as we look at this side-by-side. They go a bit deep here, but I did give them plenty of room on that inside. As we leave this corner then, side-by-side action. I get the momentum out of the corner, and we should finally have this position up into P12. So some good racing there, I would say, in the grand scheme of it. I'm going to continue now towards the dangerous corner, the most dangerous corner on this circuit, should I say. Technically turn 3, because that was 1. This is 2. This is 3. Technically turn 4 even, as we go onto the brakes and hard on the brakes. You see people take tight lines, wide lines, all sorts here. As we go through there, slight tap on the rear. Nothing major there, though. They're 3 wide up ahead. They go single file once again, because you need to be in that slipstream. And this was what the premise of this video was going to be about. As we get absolutely slammed in the rear there, it puts us out wide. I do believe that was a Dutch driver who then did back off to let us continue, so I appreciate that. Again, good sportsmanship, allow me to continue. I do have damage on the rear there, however that should go off due to the light damage. Now I do get people saying, why don't they use heavy damage? This is the reason, because that wasn't my... Oh! That's also a reason. He just absolutely died. I forgot about that one. You can see my reaction in the bottom. Like, I will make the shorts out of that. That's absolutely sure, so do keep an eye out for that. What actually happened before we get back onto damage here? So we're on board Martinez. Just through the left-hander we go. They go... Oh, they didn't turn in early enough. Oh, yep. And then they hit that one. And, yeah, they're dead. Pretty much. They are dead. Right, at least they continue on here. Not even got engine damage because it's an MR car, the Peugeot RCZ. But yeah, we go into this right-hander here, and behind there, the Alfa Romeo hits my inside there. Up ahead, there's a bit of a crash as well as we continue on here. Now, they put the hazards on, and they said sorry after the race, but I was fuming at this moment in time, because I was like, well, if you're saying sorry, that's why I put my hand up, then give the place back. However, we're going to go to their version of events now. So as we go onto the brakes right now, we go into here, and the Dutch driver, once again, just brakes too late. That forces them into me. So actually, the Spanish driver doesn't have to give that position back at all, in my opinion. So that's fair enough. So I apologize, because I said you should have waited. No, you shouldn't. I think that's fair game. So we'll continue on. Let's go back to that other incident, because there was another one there with the Portuguese driver then. So as we go into this right-handed on the outside of the Irish driver, they go a bit deep there, but that's fine. Continue on through here. Oh, they're 3 wide, slight tap on the rear, and they go round there as well, and that's going to be the end of their race. You can tell because they're not bothering to continue. They're probably a bit frustrated. Maybe the controllers hit the TV. I'm not too sure. Right, we've got jump to lap number 4 here then. I'm in P11 right now. Hit towards technically turn number 4. As we go here on the brakes, we're out wide here. There's a slight tap there, nothing major. Everyone's bashing into each other here. I get forced out wide, but we come back on the circuit then as we continue on out of there. And the side-by-side up ahead. But look at that, a 3-second penalty, and the game doesn't tell us why, which tells me the game has no idea at all, and it's in the legacy code or something. But that is a ridiculous penalty if I've ever seen one, because I was out wide, I got pushed off the track, and I somehow get 3 seconds with all what else is going on here. Anyway, we send it down the inside here of the Spanish driver. We do get that move done. The Irish driver goes into the barriers. We get on the inside of them as we go to chase cam now. Through the right-hander we go. very close indeed, but we do get that position then up into P10. And you're probably going, Tidge, why are you taking people with the penalty? It's just so I can get as far ahead as possible so I don't lose out in the slipstream. However, what we are going to do is just have a look at exactly what happened here. Was there an issue? Did somebody spin? Then I'll play fair game. As we go to they're all on the right-hand side then. They'll jump left quickly. There's a small tag between the Spanish driver and Irish driver. As we continue on through here, nothing happens. And yeah, I still don't know why I get 3-second penalties. So there's another issue with the game in a nutshell, the penalty system. And we all know the penalty system is bad, but we're going to review this at the very end. But when I said this race encapsulates everything here in terms of the problems with sport mode, you're seeing it right now. We've got dodgy penalties. We've got people not getting penalties at the moment. We've seen some good sportsmanship, which is also the good parts of daily racing as we advance to lap number 6 then. And we've got the Irish driver up ahead, good chaps, in the McLaren 650S. So it's looking like a few cars this week as well, looking very strong. The McLaren looking good. The Peugeot that we're in is looking good. The Alfa Romeo 4C is looking good. It's nice to see bouncy performance working well. However, I do expect this Peugeot to get nerfed at some point. They don't like this Peugeot being remotely strong in the slightest. We're side by side in towards this corner. Very dangerous to do this then, but we raced very well there. And all I'm doing here is setting up the move for the exit, because if I can get the run out the corner, happy days indeed. Look at that. Nice, easy pull away. And we are now ahead, getting into that P9 position. So we're making ground again, looking to advance in this race. So McLaren instantly pulls into the slipstream. And this is the problem with the slipstream. Look how strong it is. Straight away, the McLaren catches up to me. Gives me a bit of a bump draft there. I do appreciate that as we go hard on the brakes. Staying in P9. And they're hoping, I imagine, to stay in my slipstream and then push them along, or pull them along, should I say, towards the next battle going on ahead. So we jump back number 7. We've got a few people in the pits right now. And what we're going to do is we look up ahead. We see not many people I've got in the pits in the immediate pack up ahead. So I go in the pits here to try and get an undercut here with some fresh tyres, fresh medium rubber, and let's see what happens. Now, I love this Peugeot RCZ car. For those that don't know, and I said it in the weekly race guide, I'm going to say it again now, I won a Gran Turismo trophy with Peugeot at the Red Bull event in 2018, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very proud of that. I will put the trophy up at some point in the garden office when that is built. As we continue on out of here, then we are left in free air, which gives us a bit of a run now to try and catch up to everybody else as we go in towards turn 1. Now, the Irish driver pitted as well. We got Vicine behind as well. Spanish driver also pitting as we advance to lap number 11. Now, the Spanish driver has overtaken the Irish one up ahead. You can see a big old battle going on, and this is because of that slipstream. So we're actually going to jump behind here to the Spanish driver because they are so close to me at this moment in time. As we head towards turn 1, I sort of take the normal racing line. They go to the outside there, avoiding hitting my rear quarter. That is very nice of them indeed. Good sportsmanship, very good awareness there from Martinez as we continue on out. I'm going to go back on board myself now because we are very much in this pack. We used some of the slipstream there. We've caught up finally. We brought the Spanish driver with us. I'm not sure whether the Irish driver is there or not, or just at the back of this one. Anyway, we're going to head down towards this right-hander. You can see everybody fighting like crazy here, and they break a bit earlier than I expected, so I sent it down the inside, not meaning to. But it works. It sticks. We made the apex absolutely fine. What a move. I'll take those kind of moves. Now, up ahead, then the Dutch driver and the German come together slightly here as we continue on through. Who's that? Anger Minator. Well, they are not happy at all and absolutely slam into the driver, the Dutch driver, and they take out the Spanish driver as well. So purposeful punting is now happening, or revenge punting, should I say. Now, we are going to have a look exactly what happened here, and I'm actually going to go back a lap as well to see what happened. So for Plebs of the Week, if you remember, when I did Plebs of the Week, as you see a slight tap here between the two drivers, that's the German up ahead. This is what I do. I wouldn't show you all of this, but I'm not doing Plebs of the Week at the moment due to time constraints. I know some people keep asking for it, but it's just a time constraint thing. It takes the longest to do. It's the longest admin time. There's always lots and lots of comments that I need to respond to as well. But here we saw one contact already. There's another contact. You see, it puts the German driver out wide there, and they try and take full advantage of that. That's a push to pass. That is not very nice at all. Arguably, that is dirty driving. What you should have done there is just let off and let the German go. Now, German pushes against you there to say they are not happy at this moment in time. They are not happy with your driving. This way you should back off. Remember, this is the driver that did outbrake themselves a few times already. Forced the Alfa Romeo into me, for example. So, you know, you're outbraking yourself quite a few times here, so you just need to back off the braking. Now, one of the problems with this is actually the custom slipstream, because your brake markers change much more rapidly here. We're going to go down into this one, though, and you can tell that they're just making mistakes there because they don't punt the German driver. They get alongside here. Now, side by side through this corner, very dangerous there. You see a little bit of contact. They lift it off there, and then they're going to accelerate through. So, for me, that wasn't too bad, that particular move. But I can see why the German did it. However, I don't like revenge punting because the Spanish driver, who was ahead, gets absolutely taken out, and they are actually the bigger victim compared to the Dutch driver. So I don't like revenge punting, and once again, this race just showing you all the problems of sport mode in a nutshell. Right, so the Spanish driver behind me, Vitin here, looking to go for the overtake. No, not quite there. Goes to the racing line. I was a bit defensive there as we go through this right-hander. But if you look at that rear view, and I did spot this at the time, they flashed. That's telling me they want me to escape. So they were trying to break away from the cars behind. So that's what they're trying to do. So at this point in time, like, okay, they're not going to go for that overtake. We jumped to lap 14 then, where they stayed with me. We've pushed along. We've now got that gap. We're just a two-man pack at this moment in time as we continue on through here. We're about to start the final lap, actually. But you can see they've stayed with me with that custom slipstream. I didn't really get bump drafted. They just stayed within that half a second as we continue on through here. Though they get a bit of oversteer there on the exit, and that is going to cost them a little bit of time, and that allows me to push on up ahead. So we're going to head now on this final lap then through the right-hander we go and head up here. So we do have a big gap at the moment, 4.5 tenths as we go through this left-hander. We're going to go onto the brakes now for this turn, slowing it down nicely, and we've just gone a bit deep there. That allows them to catch up. They nailed that beautifully as we continue on out of there then. Let's have a look at that slipstream gap then. So we were pulling away there. It's now evened up 3.5 tenths-ish here. And you can see that gap's going to come down. But it doesn't seem too bad here. Now it's starting to come down really fast. Look at this. It's closing very, very, very quickly indeed. Down to 2 tenths of a second. We go on the brake zone. They absolutely send it down the inside. And I think they're going to miss it completely. But no. That is one of the best executed dives I've had done on me in quite a while. Well played to that Spanish driver for seeing there. That was unbelievably good. You can see me nodding my head. I love good moves like that. Some of you will be going, he dived. That's dirty drive. No, diving is not dirty driving, okay? I really hate that mindset because otherwise people can't overtake. You don't have to be alongside in the braking zone. It's when you get towards the apex and then you've got to look at making sure there's room for both drivers, okay? It's not a case of you have to be alongside because otherwise slower cars can never overtake. It's just not racing, in my opinion. That was a clean move. That was a perfect move. Well played to the Spanish driver up ahead, and I did lose out then, and I dropped to P8. So in this race, we're seeing some good driving and some bad driving. We come home in P8 there. Now, at the time, I was still a bit like, why did the P6 driver not wait up? But now I understand that. So it makes sense. Again, apologies for saying you should have waited because you definitely shouldn't have waited. What we're going to talk about now is the problems that we all saw in this race. It's literally every problem with sport mode right now, and let's jump into them. So first up, let's talk about the penalty system because we definitely saw in that race it was just not working. It really did not work because we saw penalties handed out when they should be and penalties handed out when they shouldn't be. So first up, the Dutch driver, if they'd have got a penalty for the incident where I was punted wide, so they punted, or didn't punt, they hit the Alfa Romeo from behind, which then hit them into me, okay? Now, in that situation, in my opinion, there should have been a 1 or 2 second penalty applied there because they're obviously outbraking themselves a bit too much. And while they're recovering from the consequences, later on in that race, we saw them outbrake themselves again, hit the German driver, and actually try and benefit from that overtake with a bit of a push to pass. Now, if they got a penalty from the first incident, the Dutch driver wouldn't have even been in this situation on the second incident, and then it wouldn't have happened, and then the Spanish driver, who was a victim in all of this, wouldn't have been taken out with the revenge punt. So we can see there the penalty system is not working by handing it out correctly. And then we talk about it happening incorrectly, because I got a penalty, and I still don't understand what it was for. 3 seconds! 3 seconds for what? What did I have no idea. The game normally gives you a reason underneath the penalty. It'll say ignoring yellow flags, which is an annoying penalty in itself. Maybe I didn't get all the problems with with the systems because the yellow flag penalty didn't happen, but we know that exists. So normally it says ignoring yellow flags or track limits or hitting another car or forcing a car off the track. They're the usual reasons it gives. I get no reason whatsoever for that penalty, and I still don't know why I got it. I mean, a part of it may have been because I was abused track limits, but I was hit off. I was pushed off. What do you want me to do there? Stop completely on the corner? I don't know. It seemed very bizarre to me. But once again, we're seeing the penalty system not handing out penalties when it should and handing penalties out when it really shouldn't. The penalty system really needs a revision of some kind because for me, it does not work. It really does not work. And it only really hands penalties out in extreme situations correctly. Most of the time, it seems incorrect. But hey, sometimes you just get it right. But for me, it's more not right than right most times. But that's just me. I think the penalty system is fundamentally broken. I know a lot of you do as well, and we just saw that in this video. Next up then, takeouts. So I really don't like revenge punts, as you know, because we don't know the whole story, and usually it's an extreme case of revenge punting, and there's always somebody else who then gets claimed as a victim who was not involved in the slightest. And we saw that firsthand in this race when the German driver got fed up of the Dutch driver and absolutely slammed into them, but the Spanish driver was taken out as well. So I don't like takeouts. I understand the frustrations people have sometimes. You don't know the full story. As I saw with the Alfa Romeo, I thought the Alfa Romeo was the one that hit me, but they were hit into me and then carried on. And it was perfectly fine to carry on. But if I'd have gone, oh, I'm fuming, I'm going to revenge punt them now, that would have been wrong to do. And I really don't like revenge punting. And I'll talk about it in Plebs of the Week when I was doing Plebs of the Week at the time, that I don't really like seeing it. Because normally, 9 times out of 10, you don't really know what's happened. Now, fair play to the Dutch driver. When they were side by side, you can see them lift and go through. And going side by side on that corner is dangerous in a nutshell. If I was the German driver, I'd have lifted off a little bit more and just fallen in behind. But how they had just been in a move with somebody else. So, yeah, I can imagine they were a bit frustrated, especially the fact that they got pushed to pass earlier on by the Dutch driver. But I don't like revenge punts. It's nothing against the Dutch driver either. I know I've used them a lot in this example, but a lot of it involved them. And it's no offense to the German driver either, because I'm literally just saying it as it is. You know, you drive however you drive. It's a video game at the end of the day, but I just want to see it better handled, in my opinion, by Gran Turismo. Now, I believe you should be able to report people who do those kind of takeouts, because it's not racing. It's literally, it's just a purposeful punt, and it is dirty driving. As much as people like to see it as revenge and sort of all bright and happy, it's not. It's just dirty driving. It is dirty driving. Right, next up then, slipstream. So we saw in that race that there was a pack, and the pack was there the entire time. And that's because of the slipstream. We saw how strong it was in the race. You're in the slipstream, you're overtaking anybody not in the slipstream. And in my opinion, if you can't break away from a pack, if you've got a significant advantage, well, we're going to see frustrations. And we saw the frustrations in the race. It was constant side-by-side action. People then are stuck in these battles, and you can't really just race. You know, it gets very frustrating for everybody. People who are faster then get frustrated. People behind think, oh, excellent, I'm going to go for moves. They'll get the moves wrong more often because potentially they're not as good of a driver. And then we get the frustrations, then we get the takeouts, and then we get the smashing together. People then want to leave the game because they're not very happy. The slipstream at the moment is now even worse. So we use custom slipstream at the moment, which is not very good. And it's been made worse with the balance of performance. So the balance of performance change has reduced all the power in the cars. That means that now it's harder to overtake when you come out, because obviously you've got less power. So when you're hitting a block wall of air, you can't really accelerate into that air quite as quick because you don't have as much horsepower. And guess what? That means when you're in the slipstream, it's even stronger and even better. And we end up with these packs together. Now, if you're in an extremely powerful car, a custom slipstream can work okay because it's in there to stop dirty air. But it seems that we have a choice of extreme dirty air or extreme slipstream, and we can't seem to get a middle ground. So I assume it's to do with the physics engine. That's the only thing I can think of and why they don't fix this, because it seems very obvious to me. Reduce one and don't add to the other. Fairly obvious, but yeah, we seem to have slipstream issues at the moment. Again, sport mode issues. And finally, we have extreme tire wear. Now, I've always complained about extreme tire wear. You may remember my Dear Gran Turismo video from 2019, I think it was, or 2018, one of those times anyway, where I talked about Gran Turismo just going so extreme with tire wear, where it was in double digits, that it wasn't racing anymore, because all that happens is you manage your tires. Now, we're not quite there yet in sport mode, but it's a bit extreme now, in my opinion, because if somebody has a spin, guess what? Their tire wear is significantly hit, because obviously it burns up, it burns the tire very quickly. Times 7, for example, that's every lap is 7 laps. It also means everyone has to pit at the same time, so you reduce the strategy. There's potential in this race. I mean, custom slipstream stopped it anyway, but let's forget about that for a second. There is potential that you might want to pit on lap 2 or 3 to break away from everybody else and go for a bit of an undercut, or maybe stay out that bit longer, go for an overcut. Forcing somebody to pit is absolutely fine in a race. You know, one mandatory pit stop we've seen in the championships in real life before now, where maybe you don't change tyres, but you carry on. But extreme tyre wear seems to bring this issue where you're forced to pit around all at the same time. What would be nice is if it was half the tyre wear, you still had the chance to change tyres, but you could get to the end of the race without it, and then it actually brought more strategy. Do you change tyres and go for it, or do you look after those tyres and go a bit slower? That would be kind of cool. But extreme tire wear times 7 to me is getting to that extreme end is not working either, because it reduces the strategy in the race. Lots of sport mode issues there. Sorry if I've waffled on, but I thought I'd get that out there. I really want to see a lot of this fixed, because sport mode, in my opinion, is sort of dying. People are venturing elsewhere now for their racing. People are saying they're sick of it, and I want to see it revived, because Gran Turismo has so much potential here, and it's just not used. That's going to be it for me now, folks. I do hope you have enjoyed this video. As always, if you give it a like, if you have enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. But that is going to be it for me now. And do check out those 2 videos there. Check out my partners down below as well. You know, Fanatec, GT Amiga, and Coach Dave Academy with the Delta app. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.